On today's show, we've got a packed episode for you. Ottawa Senators players and prospects bringing home championship hardware. We continue our 2026 NHL Draft Prospect Profiles, and we've got a SensCentral Citizen. Here we go.
This is Brady Kachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Brandon Piller. Today is Monday, June 1st, and lots happening for the Ottawa Senators in tournaments around the hockey world. Some Sens players playing in the World Championship, some Sens prospects were involved in the Mem Cup. So we're going to cover all of that right here. Ross is going to join later on in the episode for the SensCentral Citizen and for the prospect profiles. But right now, I want to talk about the World Championship. Had a couple Sens players playing in it, most notably Dylan Cozens, Niklas Matinpalo. They were having good tournaments, especially Dylan Cozens, absolutely lighting it up. But with Team Canada, he might have had success. But the success of Team Canada at the world stage when it comes to hockey has not been what we expect. Recently, obviously, the Olympics, losing to USA in the gold medal final in overtime when arguably Canada played a much better game. Obviously, that stings. You don't want that to happen. But that's a silver medal. In the World Championship, Team Canada, they haven't won in a couple of years. USA won it last time around. And we're not even talking about silver medals here. We're not talking about winning the championship. Team Canada was in the bronze medal game up against Norway, and they lose. Fourth place finish in this tournament for a stacked Canada roster that included Macklin Celebrini, who led the tournament in points. Sidney Crosby even came, and there's no reason why this nation should be finishing fourth in any tournament, especially when you bring a squad like that. And no offense to Norway, but if you lose to USA, Sweden, Finland, even a couple of other countries, you can understand once in a while you're not going to beat them. This was Norway's first time ever medaling in the World Championship, and they beat a powerhouse nation like Canada. Now, it does go to overtime, but, I mean, you can't really let that fool you. Canada was down 2-0 until they pulled the goalie and miraculously tie it up with 7 seconds left, and then Norway gets it done in overtime. Brutal. Just brutal if you're a Canadian hockey fan, that's for sure. Now, Dylan Cozens, in 10 games, he finishes with 4 goals, 3 assists. So honestly, a nice tournament for him. And it was really cool for Ottawa Senators fans to see him in a different role where he's playing not only on the wing, right wing, for a lot of the time, playing with Crosby and Macklin Celebrini. That's a good place to be. They put up some nice points and had some great plays together. But also killing penalties. So, I mean, if you want a silver lining, that's at least good from Dylan Cozens that he's able to get some more experience and put up 7 points in 10 games. But ultimately, he comes home with no hardware, nothing in a Team Canada jersey. That's pretty surprising. But someone that does come home with some hardware, Finnish defenseman Niklas Matinpalo. I mean, this guy's getting an opportunity to represent his country in many different tournaments. The Four Nation Face-Off he drew in, the Olympics he was there, and now he is a world champion with Team Finland. No points, no goals, no assists in 10 games, but hey, we all know Niklas Matinpalo, his game doesn't revolve around just putting up points. He's a physical shutdown defender, and he's got a world championship to add to his resume. So congrats to Niklas Matinpalo, Team Finland, winning a very tight game, 1-0 game up against Switzerland. Tough for Switzerland, the host country, where this is now multiple finals where they make it and they can't get the win and can't even score either, which those Swiss fans were ready to explode if they got a goal. Consta Helenius getting the golden goal, the game winner there. Second year in a row where a Buffalo Sabres player has gotten the golden goal to get the world championship. Tage Thompson did it last year. So that wraps up the World Championship. I got to be honest, usually I don't tune in a whole lot to the World Championship, but this one I was watching games. I was making sure to check all the highlights, especially with Dylan Cozens playing the way he was. So this was an exciting tournament from my opinion here, and another exciting tournament. I mean, this one's always good. The Memorial Cup in Kelowna. I love Kelowna. What a time of year to go to Kelowna as well for all the reporters, players, coaching, staff, everybody. It's just an awesome city to be in. And even better when you can bring home a Memorial Cup like the Kitchener Senators or Kitchener Rangers do. 2 Sens prospects getting a championship here. Luke Ellinas, he actually scored the opening goal for this game, so nice to get going there. And then Matthew Andonovski, he's also on the Kitchener Rangers, and he has an opportunity to finish off his Kitchener Rangers career with a championship. He had 2 assists in 4 games, and then Luke Ellinas, I mentioned, he had the 1 goal there, and that was it actually. So if you're going to get one, that's a good one to get. And they get a championship. First time since 2003 that the Kitchener Rangers get the Memorial Cup, and they put a beat down on Everett, 6-2 win. So that's a big one. Congrats to those guys. Massive win for both of them. And we did have another Sens prospect in the Memorial Cup, but didn't get to go to the finals, and that's Luca Beckman. And very uncharacteristic, a 6-1 loss to the Everett Silvertips. And Beckman, he allowed 6 goals on 28 shots, which is very surprising for him. Usually he's been absolutely dominant, especially when it comes to the playoffs and even for most of the Memorial Cup. But they finish the Sags with a 1-3 record. And actually, yeah, his Memorial Cup stats not as good as we're used to. Actually, pretty below average at 4.06 goals against and a 0.865 save percentage. That's coming off of playoffs where in 20 games he had a 1.98 goals against and 0.918 save percentage, 16-4 record. So tough for him, but congrats to our guys over with the Kitchener Rangers. So that's how some international play has been happening for Sens players and prospects. But if we're going to get more prospects going to Memorial Cups and more players drafted by the Sens, hopefully playing in World Championships, you got to make sure that you have a good draft. Where you guys know we are absolutely dialed into this draft. Ottawa Senators picking 32nd. We're doing 75 draft prospect profiles. So we got 3 more for you at the end of this show. But before that, we've got a SensCentral Citizen. Really excited about this one. Today, we welcome on Riley. So we're going to get to that now. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA and NHL playoffs are here, and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. I love using FanDuel all the time, but especially during the playoffs because everything I need is right there in one place. You can check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more informed. Whether you're looking at a player prop or following your favorite stars, it adds another level of excitement to every game. It's really easy to navigate the app. I love the app, and it makes playoff basketball and hockey more engaging from start to finish. We got the Stanley Cup Finals. It's the Carolina Hurricanes up against the Vegas Golden Knights. The Hurricanes, to no surprise, are the favorites. For them to win this series, you're looking at minus 154 odds. The Vegas Golden Knights at plus 128. So head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game.
All right, we now welcome on this week's SensCentral Citizen. We're headed to the Central Frontenac where we catch up with Riley. You can follow him on Twitter at the Giggle and G. Riley, what's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good, boys.
How you taking care of time now without Sens playoffs to keep you busy?
Just hate watching Montreal and a little bit of Blue Jays action in there too.
What do you think about Pillsy putting his red, bleu, blanc, and rouge pom-poms on earlier this week?
Yeah, well, I think turned out just as expected with Pilsy's predictions here.
Riley, come on, man. Take it easy on me. I'm taking this so hard. The Habs are 0-3 since I jumped on their bandwagon. So if everyone could just respect me, and I'm really hoping they turn things around here.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah.
I bet you
Yeah,
do.
respect your privacy.
Yes, thank you.
So Riley, you grew up near Kingston. That's Leafs country. How'd you grow up being a Sens fan?
I know a lot of family members are Leafs fans, but my dad used to cheer for them, then jumped on the Sens in the early 2000s. So, yeah,
That's called
been a
good
Sens fan my
parenting.
whole life. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a good switch.
Now, did he switch because you became a Sens fan, or what was the order there? Was it father, and then he told you, "Hey, Riley, we're going to be Sens fans now," or did you start as a Sens fan and then he was like, "Actually, I'm going to go with my son here"?
I think he switched first. He was the first one, and then I was too young to really pick a team. I just kind of did whatever. So once he switched to the Sens, I was all on board. Yeah.
Hey, it's like you heard back in the day, right, Pilsy? Like a parent, they'll stop smoking or they'll give up bad habits before they have a kid because they don't want their kid to see that. So that was just Riley's dad saying, like, I don't want my son to have to grow up as a Leafs fan. So let's get on board here. And it seems like it was at a good time there as you're able to see a little bit more success. We're not gonna, bang the drum too hard because they haven't gotten over the hump, but awesome that you guys are cheering for the Sens in enemy territory, although the Sens are trying to get their print at least around. Nice. How many times do you try to go a year to Ottawa to catch a game?
Usually 4 to 6. I think this year is only 3, but I made a bigger purchase with a house this year, so not as much funds for going to games. But yeah, still made it to a playoff game too. Went to game 4. Not the result, but
fun second
nice
period though, eh?
Yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah, lots going on in that game. Unfortunate they couldn't get it done. Did it bother you? Like, I was legitimately upset when they scored after the empty net goal. I was like, oh, now you got one in you?
Yeah, now it'd give us a little bit more hope, but couldn't quite bring it back.
Just enough hope to kill you, eh, Riley? That was tough.
Just a glimmer. Yeah.
But did you believe in that hope? Because Ross maintains that was just a waste of time for him. Were you at least like, oh, we got it within 1 now, like maybe we can tie it up here? Or was it same for you? You're just like, oh my God, whatever.
I was kind of still maintaining the hope, but I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't think they can do it. I was really hoping to get one more and at least force overtime and make it interesting, but not to be.
My mom took a paparazzi. That was me after the Sens scored. I was like, very excited.
Yeah.
But hey, there's lots of good signs this year. Unfortunate that it ended the way it did. Has your perception of the series changed at all after seeing what Carolina's done afterwards? Or are you on the side where it's like, that's coping, we got to be better. Doesn't matter who you play, you got to put up a better fight?
Yeah, I mean, they're a wagon. It's tough to go up against them and have too much, I don't know, hope's the right word, but like too much expectations. You're just trying to battle them. And like you guys have mentioned, the Carolina fans have said that Sens are the toughest matchup they've had so far. I don't know, maybe some of them think Montreal now, but just that one game really, and then it was all Carolina so far. So
yeah, too bad we couldn't get them on 11 days rest coming into our series. That would have been fun. I would have really appreciated that. So you grew up an Ottawa Senators fan. In what era? Who are some of your first favorite players with the team?
It's got to be Alfie. I was born in 98, so I kind of started paying attention like early 2000s, so 04 to like now, pretty much. So Alfie was one of the first, and then Carlson, and I have then now Timmy Stu and Brady. Those are my guys.
Yeah, you hopped on at a good time, similar to me. I came when Dominic Hasek came in the early 2000s as well.
Yeah.
What are some of the early memories you have? Like, is there a game, a play, anything like that where you like, I like the Sens, I like hockey, but now I'm hooked?
Yeah, I think it was like the early 2010s, kind of when I was like in late public school, kind of starting high school when they were pesky Sens. I remember those. those days. And then like the hamburger run, that was the one that clearly sticks out. Like Lazar eating the burger off the ice. Those are some of the moments that I joke around with all the time in high school with the buddies. And yeah, so those were kind of my favorite memories. I remember Carlson being stuck with some defenseman. Is it Philip Kuba? One of the ones that I just hated to watch all the time. The games were always on Sportsnet, and I was like, man, can we get him a partner?
Can we please? Matt, where are you, bud? Where are you?
Yeah,
Mark Mathok came along.
Needed him 10 years earlier.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that was tough at the start there. He was playing a little bit with Sergei Gonchar at the start as well. And you're like, can we just get this guy someone?
Whoa, don't disparage Sergei Gonchar like that.
I mean,
you're talking about Gonchar like he's Zaitsev.
Well, I mean, at that point in his career, he wasn't the Sergei Gonchar that was putting up 60 points and being an absolute weapon on the power play.
He didn't have to. He was just a good veteran mentor.
I think it just bothered me too that Galley had Bob Cole was doing play-by-play. God rest his soul. He had no clue whether it was 65 or 55 with the puck. He was guessing. He was guessing at the best of times, but they were able to figure it out. And actually, that transitions well into a question that we were pondering recently on the show, and that's the partner for Thomas Chabot. It felt like we had figured it out for a little quick minute with Nick Jensen there, but now seems like Jensen's out the door. How would you approach the decor going into this offseason, Riley? Is there something you want to see that would make you confident going into next season? You want to run it back with the same six that they had this year? How do you want to see that unfold?
I was thinking about it. I think Jordan Spence would work well there. Like we've seen flashes throughout the year of Chabot and Spence and what they can do. And then like Matinpalo has been good pretty much all year. Every place he's played, like Olympics and now World Championships and everything. So I think if you keep like Clevin, Matinpalo, and then I don't know if you want to do Yakimchuk, keep him up with the team and like spot start, or if you want to get like a PTO or something in the fall, then just have him battle it out for a spot in camp. But yeah, I think Spence for right now, hopefully get him signed to a decent number and keep it going this year.
Where are you at with Carter Yakimchuk? Like it's so disappointing he got hurt, because that took a big chunk of development opportunities, whether he was just going to play more in the AHL or whether he would have been able to play more time in the NHL, because he got hurt when he got called up as well. Like, do you think he needs a little more time in Belleville? Like, are you thinking start him in the AHL, then maybe if you need him or he excels, or just later on in the season bring him up or start him in the NHL? Where do you think Carter Yakimchuk should be next season?
Yeah, I think take a look at how he looks in training camp and like some preseason games. That's why I think maybe a PTO might be a good idea, like to have him battle it out with some vet, see who does better, and then if he has a slow start, you can send him down, get his confidence back, and if he starts picking it up down in the AHL, maybe bring him up for a couple games, give him a taste, and see how it goes from there. Because I think he could pair well with like a Clevin, big shutdown guy as well. Yeah, so I think just wait and see in training camp and preseason how it goes with him.
I'm excited. It's a big summer for Shelly Kettles. I feel like if she can get Carter Yakimchuk skating to just a little bit higher of a level, all the other tools there. Like when we were talking to Stephen Halliday, he's like, the second I saw him pump fake at the blue line against the Red Wings, he's like, I knew he was scoring, and he just walked in and ripped it. Clearly the confidence is off the charts with him, and his hands and his shot, everything in terms of the tools are there. Just want to be able to get that pace up at the NHL level. And he's got a long way to go, just 20 years old still until September. So he'll come into camp 21 with a full year of pro experience under his belt. Really looking forward to seeing that. Riley, what's the number one priority for you if you're advising Steve Staios right now? What needs to happen for him this summer to get Ottawa into a spot where they can start the season strong? Because that's the biggest problem for Senators over the years is the starts, whether it's the first 10, 20, 30 games of the season. They always find themselves kind of trying to fight out of a hole. So the goal is to start and be in the top three, at least in a wild card spot coming out of November. How or what needs to happen between now and then for you to have confidence that they can do it?
I think it starts with the goaltending. You guys mentioned a lot of different targets that they could have. I think finding someone that's going to be consistent for them, because Levy thought might do it this year, but just didn't have it this year. So I think whether you go with like the 3 goalie tandem, or he picks up like a nice solid vet, or how old's Devin? Was it Devin Cooley?
Yeah, I think
we were
29.
looking at the other day. 29, yeah. So he's got some experience, and maybe he can step in there, be a nice like 1B kind of guy with Linus. But yeah, I think the goaltending for sure. And then we've seen Dylan Cozens on the wing in the World Championship. Maybe that's an option for the Sens. Got a nice goal scorer for Timmy.
Do you think Steve Staios is going to try to be busy this offseason? Like, it seems like we're talking a lot about the internal options up front and shaking things up that way. Like, are you confident with this forward core going into next season? Let's say they bring Claude Giroux back, and let's say they bring Nick Cousins back. Would you be comfortable with running it that way?
I think so. I think there's a lot of puck luck this year, I find too, like especially in the playoffs. They didn't get a whole lot of bounces or anything. Kind of taking a page out of DJ Smith here, but like I feel like with another year of growth and like maybe switching it around, the combinations a little bit might help them out a little bit. And, just seeing what the guys can do with another year under their belts, another hopefully fire lit under Brady a little bit more. And hopefully everyone can stay healthy for extended periods, because we had injuries to different guys and just seemed like we never had too healthy of a roster for long stretches at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when guys go down, especially key players like we saw this season, especially near the end of the season and playoffs. Riley, final question for me. This has been awesome having you on. What, in your opinion, would be a successful season next year?
Well, I think playoffs for sure. I'd like second round. I want to say second round at least of the playoffs. Hopefully like top 3 in the division, but we know it's going to be tough with like Buffalo, Tampa, Montreal. If like see what Gavin McKenna can do for the Leafs, but I don't know if that does the trick or not to get him back in a top 3 spot at least. So I'd say top 3 in the division, and then trying to get to that second round, try and make a push here.
Yeah, I mean, the heart wants home ice advantage. The brain doesn't know if that's possible. And we didn't even mention Florida there. They're waiting in the wings.
Oh,
yeah.
Barkov looks unreal at the Worlds. He'll be back next season, full flight. Now, they don't have a goalie right now, but why do I have a feeling they're somehow going to get Connor Hellebuck? Why?
What? That's crazy.
I hope it's crazy, Pillsy. I really hope it's crazy. I'm just saying, Bill Zito's at least calling, at least saying, hey, I just had 10 sheets come off the books in goal. I could fit it in.
Yeah.
They got a premium asset with that 10th overall pick too.
That'd be wild. Wow.
I'm not advocating for it, of course. Keep Connor Hellebuck in the Western Conference, but my goodness, I just feel like they're in this window now where they know that this year wasn't what they are, and it's going to be pretty scary to see what Florida has in store for us next season. But we got to at least hope. And I mean, the Senators played well, and you look at it, the stat that some people called us nerds for that we keep looking at is the expected goals percentage. But we talked about it recently on the show. All the teams that have had success in the playoffs were at the top of that list. Vegas number 1 after the Olympics in expected goals. Number 2, Carolina always number 1. And those are 2 teams that are likely going to fight for the Stanley Cup. So we'll see how it all shakes out there. We're big draft guys here, Riley. I'm not going to make you pick a player or anything, but is there a strategy that you want to see the Senators approach the draft with back-to-back years where you draft a right shot defenseman with your first round pick? Do you want to see them just best player available, whatever it is? Or is there a certain area of the team you'd like to see them start building out their prospect pool with?
I think probably a forward. Like you mentioned, they went right shot defense in the past couple of years. I think with the 32nd overall pick, they gotta get a forward. Just try and go for high upside, because like you guys have mentioned in the draft rankings and everything, there's a lot of skill here. There's a lot of high end talent, so I think they can get someone in that top echelon at 32 still, at least with high potential, and then try and build them up over the next couple of years.
Love it. Hoping for the best is all we can do, Riley. We really appreciate you jumping on. Will we see you at the home opener next year or what?
I'll try and make it. Yeah, I always
Let's
try and
do
make it out to those ones. They're always a blast.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for doing this, Riley. We really appreciate it. Enjoy your summer, and we'll do this again down the road.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Hims. ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions of guys deal with it at some point, and that's exactly why Hims offers a straightforward way to handle it. Hims connects you with licensed healthcare providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatment options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process that makes it easier to take care of yourself. The whole process is simple. You just complete a quick online intake and a provider reviews your information. If treatment is right for you, it ships directly to your door in a discreet package, which makes the whole experience feel private and stress-free. They also offer options like sildenafil, the generic for Viagra, at a fraction of the cost, plus other treatments so you can find what works best for you. It's straightforward, transparent, and designed to make getting care feel easy. To get simple, online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/lockedonnhl. That's hims.com/lockedonnhl for your free online visit. hims.com/lockedonnhl. Prescription required. See the website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is the generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Viatris Specialty LLC. Hims is not affiliated with or endorsed by Viatris.
All right, back to our NHL draft rankings, and coming in at number 45 from the U.S. National Team Development Program, it's Casey Mutryn.
Casey Mutryn had a really good season with the USNTDP in 62 games, 18 goals, 28 assists for 46 points, racked up the PIMS with 89, finished at a -10 though. He did have 5 points in 5 U18 games where he was Team USA's captain, so that's a big deal for sure. He plays both center and the wing, primarily center, but can play on the wing as well. And Ross, as a Massachusetts guy, he's committed to Boston College in 2027, 2028.
And he's already got some ties to New England. His dad was a quarterback for the New England Patriots at a time, was competing with Drew Bledsoe for a job back in 1999. An athletic family, and Mutryn is that type of player. He's a power playmaker. He's the type of guy that can do it all in the offensive zone. He's always looking for his teammates. He finishes his checks hard, and he's the type of player a coach is going to love having on their lineup. Corey Pronman loves having this guy on his rankings, 12th overall. That's right. Corey Pronman thinks there's only 11 players in this draft better than Casey Mutryn. And then there's a drop-off all the way to 38. Next is elite prospects. So 38, 43 for Craig Button, 44 for Stephen Ellis, 58 for Scott Wheeler, and 61 for McKeans. The prospect on is sinking this ranking at 73. Pillsy, have we ever done a prospect that ranges for our 7 scouts from 12 to 73?
I'm sure we have, Ross, but
I don't think so.
That is, I remember we had a couple last year that were crazy ranges. But I do believe moving forward, we do have a wider stretch. But from being as high as 12 to as low as 73 certainly is something. For me, I think I'm in between EP and Wheeler.
I thought you were going to say between 12 and 73.
Well, technically that still is correct.
Way to narrow it down.
But I mean, averaging out between 38 and 58 is pretty close to where we have him at 45 here. But I don't want to seem like I'm too low on him because he has some interesting traits for sure. Wheeler talks about his physicality, good wall play, good net front presence. And I mean, for a guy that's 6'3", 201 pounds, those are things you would expect. And the hockey writers, in their article about him, they define him as a shutdown forward, like something that coaches are going to love. He focuses on playing good defense first and then chipping in offensively later. For me, I see him as a high floor, but more of a low ceiling guy. Like I think it's very likely he will play pro games, and it's very likely, almost certainly, he will be in a bottom 6 role.
I was going to give this guy middle 6 upside. I think that there's a bit of a
I don't
scoring
see
touch.
it.
I think the way he plays down low as well, it just kind of treats to a game where if you're out there with good players, you're going to be in there in the dirty areas where a lot of the goals get scored. And I think that's how he's going to do some of his damage.
But I don't you see him as a second line guy, possibly
Middle
for,
6, like a third player on
middle 6 is you could play on the second line though.
Right, but you'd be the third player on that line. You're not looking to drive play. I don't think he's necessarily going to be a play driver as an NHLer, but I think he'll be a nice complementary piece that can open up space for his line mates with the way that he forechecks and the way that he plays well physically. I think that maturity in his game is going to come through at the next level, but I think Boston College is a great spot for him to learn, right? They've been churning out forwards at Boston College of late. And I'm not saying this guy's Ryan Leonard or Gabe Perreault or any of the big wingers that have come out of there recently. I mean, big in pedigree. Gabe Perreault, 5 foot little, but very, very good prospect. But with Mutryn, you already have the size. He's a late birthday. July 5th is his birthday. So you get that extra room to grow. I really like this player. I think he's going to be, I'm closer to the first half of the second round. I think if he's on the board past 45, somebody's got to trade up and go get this guy. I think he's the type of player that any prospect pool could have. There's some guys in this range where it's like, okay, if you already have a deep pool, you can take this swing. Or if you don't, you want to get a basis, a nice lining for your prospect pool. You can get a Ryder Cali or a guy like that. I think Mutryn, you're taking a little bit more of a swing, but also getting that certainty. So I think I'm a little bit higher on him than you are.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I'm lower on him than what you're describing. Like for me, Ross, this is the perfect type of player for a contending team that wants to find a guy that can play 4th line minutes on an entry-level contract sooner rather than later. Like that's what I see for him. I don't know if the offense is going to pop for him, but he's a decent defensive player. But having said that, Ross, being called a shutdown forward and being complimented for your defensive game and finishing a -10 on the USN TDP.
That's interesting.
That's interesting for sure. Again, we know plus minuses and everything, but -10 is a decent low number. And for someone that's supposed to be good at defense, that's not exactly what you want to see. But I really think this guy is going to go middle second round, and it's going to be a team that finished in the top 10 in the NHL standings looking to take him with their first pick.
And get him on that entry-level contract when he comes out of college. Hey, the old sign at the end of the year, get him for that playoff run in a couple of years.
I see that.
I don't mind that thought process to get him rolling. Again, this guy's going to play in the NHL. I don't think there's much doubt. David St. Louis from Elite Prospects, very complimentary in the most 2 recent scouting reports that they do on EP. This quote here is one of the things I really liked. And David St. Louis said, the balance of decisions, he's not trying to be too complex, but he takes pucks to the slot when he can. He forechecks hard, hits hard, makes one-touch passes, slip passes, and has a constant motor. So when you're 6'3" with a motor and you have the maturity to play physically, I like that profile as a guy who, I'm not saying take him at 32 if you're Ottawa, but I could talk myself into it. I think it's more going to be a team in the 40 to 45 range that's going to jump on Casey Mutryn, kind of where we have him here, Pilsy. So with that said, in 5 points, 5 games, that bronze medal at the U18s, the last time he played hockey this season, I think that's going to be a nice little jolt. We'll see how he measures at the combine. I think that his physical assets, the way he plays, if he can be one of the top guys in all the physical exercises that they do there, I think he could rise on some boards here. You can't rise from Corey's board, but you can rise up here and solidify yourself as a prospect to watch for in this draft class. How many stars do you have for Casey Mutryn?
I give him 3.5 stars because I see the projectability. I see his path to becoming a pro, but I don't see that top attribute, and I don't see a big swing on a high ceiling or potential here.
So because I see the physicality as being a separating asset and the fact that I think that he can find chemistry with a number of different types of teammates, I think that's going to boost him up. So I'm a little bit higher than that with Casey Mutryn, who comes in with an average ranking of 47. He's number 45 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings. All right, coming in at number 44 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings, a player that has only played in North America at the World Juniors. Coming out of the Pro League in Slovakia, it's Tomas Chrenko.
Yes, Tomas Chrenko, lots of experience in the pro Slovakian league, Ross. Like, he didn't just dip his toes in. He didn't just get an opportunity. He played the whole year there. 44 games, 9 goals, 22 assists for 31 points. I mean, I know Slovakia, not the highest of pro leagues, but 31 points in 44 games for a young player in his rookie season in a pro league is very good. Only 10 PIMs plus 12. But when he's playing at his own age level, he dominates. Had 12 points. Had 8 points in 5 World Junior games with Slovakia. Was a key part of that team. Yeah, big player for them. And then even in the playoffs in Slovakia's pro league, had 12 points in 19 playoff games. And
they won the championship, by the way. So you like winners? You like winners?
Well, and this guy's going to want to keep winning. When you win in young in your career, you don't want to drop off there. And I really see a lot of potential with him. Like, for me, I look at Mutryn, who we just covered, and then Chrenko, and I'm higher on Chrenko, and I see more potential upside with him while seeing some of those similar relatable skills without the size that Mutryn had.
He made a joke out of Slovakia's U20 league, not this season for sure. You mentioned the numbers, but even last season, like more than 2 points per game. And he actually made his pro debut as a 16-year-old. He had 2 games in Slovakia's top league in the 2023-24 season. But I bring that up because also 3 seasons ago, he was playing in the U18s. That's as a 16-year-old. When you get to these countries where they don't have the depth of talent in each age group, you see what players can do playing up age groups at international competition. And Pillsy, his numbers were sparkling. As a double underager at the U18s, he had 5 points in 7 games. And then as a 17-year-old at the highest age group you can play in that, he had 5 goals and 8 points in 7 games. Internationally, when scouts are gathering for those events, it's always been Tomas Chrenko showing up for those big games. And I think that you look at that, and I think it could quell some of the natural concern with saying that, yeah, you played against men, and that is tough in its own right, but it's not as organized or as competitive with the players in your own, the other players that are in this range are playing against their own age group every night. And you get to see 2 guys who you're looking at like, oh, in the OHL, when this team's playing that team, which one of those guys that I like on each side is going to step up and play better? He hasn't had that comparison outside of international events when Slovakia is typically the underdog, and he's shown that he can go up against that heavier competition and play well. So I'm a huge fan of his game. He is an early birthday, which I think some teams will really like, that you've already had. His whole 18-year-old season has already been played, and I think that physical maturity in his game, despite not being the biggest guy, is going to do him well as he gets into an NHL's organization. And I don't know how many picks they have, but this to me feels like a Colorado Avalanche type pick, a team that's already established and is going to need that second wave. I'm not saying he's going to be pro in North America soon. Maybe you bring him to the AHL right away. I wouldn't hate that either, but I think that you're looking at a guy here who's going to step into an NHL role sooner rather than later. I think we put the cart before the horse here. We didn't give the rankings for Tomas Chrenko, and he's a first-round talent for Scott Wheeler-Pillsy, all the way up at 28, for Stephen Ellis as well at 32. Are you thinking those 2 are too high?
Maybe a little too high. I probably got him in the mid to late 30s myself, but at 5'11", 170 pounds, he's not big and he's not tiny either. Obviously, you love a little more than 170, but 5'11", 5'11" guys will tell you you're right there. You're almost at 6 feet. Right, you just got to put some different shoes on. But where for me, I don't see him as a guy that's just going to be playing bottom 6 on an entry level contract, and that's his big draw. I see more upside. He can pick corners with his shot. Scott Wheeler compliments his versatility, saying he can play all 3 forward positions. He can play at different paces. So you want to up that tempo, he's got you. You got to slow it down. He can do it. You need that mid, more endurance pace. He's got it as well. He plays with jam. He plays physical, and he can get the puck to open teammates. So shoot, play physical, play different pace, play all over the lineup. And EP scouting reports call him dynamic. They complement his skating and passing skills. So I think he has a very high floor. But usually when you say high floor, the next thing that comes is low ceiling. But I'm not going that direction. I think high floor with potential upside as well, which is pretty rare, I would say. So the fact that he absolutely dominates his own age level, like we didn't even say his U20 stats in 4 games this year. He had 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points in 4 games. And the fact that he's played a full season in the pro league, he is not the biggest guy, but he knows how to be shifty. He can evade those big, stronger players that are trying to get big hits on him. So for me, Ross, I give Tomas Chrenko 4 stars. I really like this player. I see him as a middle 6 winger, and I don't think he's going to need that much of a development path to get to the pros.
I think there's still a world where he could be a centerman at the NHL level too. I don't want to take that away from him right away, but I was watching his goals at the World Juniors, and like you mentioned his release, like he's just beating goalies clean. Like it's not like he's getting the dirtiest goals, like rough in the middle, tip it in. Like he's ripping pucks. And I think that's going to be really fun to see his development. The rest of our scouts rankings here, Craig Button has him at 36. Stephen Ellis at 32. We mentioned that one, the 2 guys who have him in the first round. But then it's a bit of a drop off. McKeen's is at 42. Then you've got Corey Pronman at 65. The Don at 51. And elite prospects, despite calling him dynamic and recognizing the skills of his game, have him at 79 on their list. So I was a bit surprised to see that number come across the board. To me, he's a late first, early second type player. And I would be very happy if the Senators took Tomas Chrenko with their 32nd overall pick. I would see the vision of that. Ottawa needs a little bit more depth down the center of the ice. I believe if Ottawa drafted him, they would be looking to draft him as a centerman and continue that path. But I would like the upside of this player to take at 32 overall.
Yeah, I think 32 would be a little high for me, but I like the player. I like the floor. I see the upside, and he does have some traits that the Ottawa Senators look for in that motor and pro skill.
Coming in with an average ranking of 46.86, Tomas Chrenko comes in at number 44 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings. Coming in at number 43 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings from the, don't call him the Mississauga, Niagara Ice Dogs, it is Ryan Rooebreck. And this guy, if you had looked last year at the scouts that do the, hey, look at these first round type players 2 drafts from now, he was considered a lottery pick. How the heck is he fallen all the way to 43 on our average rankings?
Well, let's start with the positives first with Ryan Rooebreck. This is easily, without a doubt, the most talented player we've covered so far in our rankings at number 43 here. Ross, Ryan Rooebreck applied for exceptional status in the OHL. That's the type of talent we're talking about here. Now, he didn't get it, but he was drafted 2nd overall in the OHL draft in 2023. Pretty good players around him. You might have heard of him, Ross. Matthew Schaefer was drafted 1st, and Brady Martin was drafted 3rd. So in between those 2 guys is a good spot to be for sure.
So Brady Martin went 5th overall for those listening at home last year's NHL draft. And you had Matthew Schaefer, of course, winning the Calder Trophy in the National Hockey League. But he's basically their age. He is one of the oldest players in this draft class.
Yeah, and if he would have got exceptional status, he would have played 4 OHL seasons. He did play 3 last year, getting in 49 games, 30 goals, 28 assists, so 58 points in 49 games, 26 PIMs, finished as a +1. Unfortunately, the Ice Dogs did not make the playoffs, so he didn't have a chance to extend there. But look at his other seasons. His rookie season in the OHL, 51 points in 63 games. And then his middle season, in 64 games, he had 87 points, including scoring 40 goals, also had 6 points in 5 playoff games then. Like, the abilities that this guy has, no one is questioning. He also wore an A for the Ice Dogs. He kills penalties, plays power play. From the highlights you watch, Ross, he's so exciting. He can beat goalies from far. He plays the flank on the power play. But I'll let you get in some of your positives about him, and then we can discuss why, instead of being a lottery pick in the top 10, and we're not talking about this guy weeks from now, he's lower in the 40s here.
I mean, he's got 196 points in 171 OHL games. Like, and that's as a 16, 17, and 18-year-old. Like, this guy is nasty, and his offensive mixtape can go up against anybody in this draft class. So I think that's pretty much covering a wide net of what he can do. He's big. I think there could be a little more mean to him. That would be really, really nice to see. But like as a shooter, as a passer, as a guy who can just be there, and I'm not calling him Patrick Laine, but there's shades of Patrick Laine in terms of sometimes looking a little disinterested at getting to where the puck is going.
Yeah, and that's the issue, Ross. I don't think he has the goal scoring ability of Laine. Certainly, he can put pucks in the back of the net, but I would say he's more of a dual threat guy. He's a very good playmaker too. But what Wheeler was saying is scouts that he's talking to, it seems like they have the same feeling that they did towards Dean Letourneau in the past. Remember him? Ironically, chosen with the 25th overall pick, the pick the Sens traded to the Boston Bruins to acquire Linus Hallmark. And
Ottawa guy too.
Yeah, Ottawa guy, also ironic there. But Dean Letourneau, 6'7", 229 pounds. So you look at Ryan Rooebreck, who is a big kid as well, 6'4", 216. So Letourneau got a bit of size on him. But I remember when Boston took Letourneau, Ross, I was stoked. I was like, thank God they took a player I don't like. Letourneau was one of those guys. He's one of my lowest ranked prospects ever. In the bottom 5 for sure, because his draft season, he had 3 assists in 36 games with Boston College.
No, that was the year after he got drafted.
Oh yeah, it's true.
He was playing prep school in Canada.
Yes, no, you're right. You're right. Sorry, I got my years mixed up.
Yeah, because then everyone was looking like, what the heck is going on? And then this year he popped off like crazy.
Yes, he popped off this year. But that's the similarities is scouts are seeing a big kid that has offensive potential, but just looks disinterested, low effort, low pace, plays soft for a guy his size. Wheeler actually compared him to Arthur Kaliev.
Oh, man.
We know what Kaliev can do offensively. He led the AHL in goals. But we also know he's not exactly a coach's delight when it comes to forechecking, back-checking, or showing any interest in playing defense. But you want goals? You want points? You're going to get them with these types of players. He's a boom or bust guy, like
big time.
I hate
that his production went down in his draft year.
Yeah, but also considered he played much less games. It's
too bad he couldn't go to the U18s, right? Because of his early birthday, he got that in last year. He played well. He had 9 points in 7 games in international competition, +7, no PIMs. Like, people just want big players to be mean, and they're just not all mean.
It doesn't know. Yeah, look at Logan Brown, another example of a big guy that just does not have that meanness. And that's the thing. Scouts are very worried about how big he is and he doesn't play mean and how he looks disinterested. This is a home run swing. If he's available outside from anywhere from 25 to 45, in my opinion, a team can step up and pick him and say, we're going for it here. Because if he pans out, you might have the steal of the draft. I don't think that's too crazy to say. If you get him late first, early second, you might have picked the most talented player you possibly could have gotten in that range, and you feel good about it. But if he doesn't pan out and he's not able to develop properly, coaches aren't going to get him to play the right way that he's going to need to play in the pros, that's tough. This is the type of player I want the Sens to take a swing on, Ross. At 32nd overall, he would change their prospect pipeline drastically. However, this is also the type of player I could see the Ottawa Senators not even interviewing because those are big traits that they value is work ethic, compete level, pace, forechecking, back-checking, physicality. So I give him 4 stars, Ross, because at 32nd overall, if you take a swing like this could honestly change the course of your franchise. Like if he pans out and you got him like that, major game changer here. But also you could have just wasted a pick and it doesn't turn out.
Which is why I'm looking at a specific team. I'm going to call my shot with Ryan Rooebreck.
Okay.
You want to guess?
I was going to say Florida, but they're not picking him that high.
Nope. The Calgary Flames.
Okay.
With Vegas's first round pick. They already get their top guy
Yeah, I like that actually.
It's insulated by being the second pick. They have 4 second-round picks as it stands right now. We'll see if they trade up, trade down, probably trade up. And if you have that many picks,
you can take that
better
swing.
time. They draft late 30s, either 30 or 31, because they're in the Stanley Cup final. And then they have their own second, which is literally 6 picks later.
Yep.
Why not take this swing? That's what Calgary's missing, is like high upside prospects.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the perfect place for him to go. Maybe they get him with one of their seconds. Who knows? But watch for the Calgary Flames with Ryan Rooebreck. That's what I call. My other call, and it kind of goes hand in hand with this. I don't think he's on the board when Ottawa goes up at 32.
Yeah. Scouts are stuck in their ways, though, looking at stuff like that.
It takes one team. It takes one team.
But also, I think one thing to consider is a guy that's played 3 full in his 3rd full season of OHL. He went for exceptional status. He's a high-profile guy playing on a team that wasn't exactly great in the Ice Dogs. Those guys, if they're not fueled and there's not competitive games, they lose interest a little bit, which is not a good thing, I'm saying. But you put him on a playoff team, Ross, like the year before when the Niagara Ice Dogs made the playoffs. He had 87 points in 64 games and was a point per game guy in the playoffs.
You know why getting him now is great, though? The new rule, he could play in the AHL next year because you're 19 years old.
Yeah, he can't
that might be
the OHL.
No, I think the AHL is a great spot for him.
Yeah, or a year. I wouldn't hate a year in college too.
You want to make him go study? Buddy, he's here to play hockey. Let him play hockey. You know who would know him really well? The Buffalo Sabres, Niagara, just across the river there. So be curious to see if that's a spot. They've got a late 1st round pick. They've got a deep prospect pool. Why not go out, make a swing of a guy that could potentially make your team better in just a couple of years? But definitely boom or bust. You either love Ryan Rooebreck or you have no time from him if you're a scout. I think he's going to go in the 1st round, though. So I don't think Senators fans have to worry about him potentially being on the board for Steve Stamkos to take.
If he was and the Sens took him, how would you feel?
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd feel really good. I'd like a centerman. I know we want forward, preferably a centerman, but I want a home run swing. They took the home run swing with Carter Yakimchuk.
Yep.
It's trending in the right direction. I'd be happy with Ryan Rooebreck. I wouldn't be celebrating the streets. I'm sure I'll have guys higher than him. I think Rooebreck's going to be 35th, 36th, around there on my list. But basically anyone from 40 and better, I'm happy on my list. I've kind of got a top 40, I think, where I'd be really confident with the Senators taking him. How many stars for you?
I give him 4 stars. I wanted to give him 4.5, but it's that risk.
You just couldn't work hard enough to do it?
Yeah, he didn't get that half star from Pilsy, so I'm sure that's something he'll be looking back at.
Kaliev is an interesting one, though. Yeah, I mean, he was the first pick in the 2nd round, 32nd overall at the time.
Yeah.
No, 33rd, because the first pick in the 2nd round was Shane Pinto.
Yes, yeah, he was right after. Yep.
33rd overall. Okay, Pilsy with an average rank of 46.72. Ryan Rooebreck comes in at 43 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings. All right, Pilsy, let's wrap up today's show. We got a big week ahead. We're going to do our perfect offseason for the Ottawa Senators segment later on this week. So stay tuned for that. Hope everyone had a great weekend and get a good start on the week. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Thank you so much for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with the show. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.